Toastmasters, Madam President, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Studying abroad or simply taking a trip to a different country that you've never been before can definitely be a life-changing experience that you will never forget. After my own experience studying abroad in France for 6 months in Paris and doing some research for one of my masters, my classes in my masters, I can confidently talk to you today about some of the benefits that traveling can do for you, and also getting to know a different culture. So now I want you to think about the first time that you took a trip. It could be to a different country or maybe a place that you have never visited before. Maybe you were excited, nervous, anxious, and you probably had a lot of questions on your mind of how this experience will be. In a few words, what I want to say is that when you're getting outside of your comfort zone, traveling can be a fun way of getting outside of your comfort zone, and that is how you begin to grow more as a person. And for me, it was a really good experience because it was also challenging. I went there without any family or friends, and had to live in this new city for 6 months and had to find an apartment and speak the French and get to know the school system and also take classes in French. So you could imagine how that experience was able to enrich me, and also I became more confident, more independent, and I was also, after the experience, I was able to maybe not be that scared of like traveling by myself alone for a period of time, or just also setting other goals for myself in the future. So the other is language proficiency. So how are you going to understand better the culture if you don't at least try to learn the language? So this brings me to the next point. The first point was maturity, now is language proficiency. I believe that any traveling experience should have a language component, that you are able to learn the language. Even if you're just traveling for a week or 2 weeks, you should at least try to learn a few words along the way or even before, so that you can also understand the culture better. Because you can tell a lot about how the culture is if you learn the language. You can know what are the expressions and how those expressions are different from your own language and how people speak. And it could also serve you, it can open doors for you in the future. Almost like 2 weeks ago, I was able to go back to France after 4 years that I wasn't, after that experience. And I was amazed at how quickly I was able, the French came back to me, and I was just able to speak to the locals, and I was kind of like the translator for my family. And sometimes, like, if you're not in, if you go to small cities, you need to, sometimes they don't even speak in English, so you need to speak the language, and they will appreciate you more for it too. And the next point that I wanted to make is that also traveling can give you more of a global mindedness. And I wanted to share the definition: to explore new ideas and perspectives, as well as humility to learn and willingness to work with people around the globe. And this was definitely, after that experience, I was more open to get to know people that were different from me, and making those relationships with those people, and I was able to understand the world a little bit differently. So in conclusion, when you're thinking of taking some time off to travel, or maybe you have children that want to study abroad, encourage them to do so, and think about it. It will also be a fun experience, but it will also enrich you, and you can learn a lot from it. Thank you.
Wonderful, Mariana. Thank you for that wonderful speech about travel.